Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, doing a review in the car as my wife is in Bed Bath & Beyond. So, I'm a huge Terry Gilliam fan. He is my favorite director and writer. I've read his book, which took me a little while to get through because I'm not a fan of some of the stories that were in there. I just they didn't click with me, they didn't resonate. And a lot of it was sort of like political leanings and stuff, and I'm not into that. So I just finished watching last night with Beth The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. So if you don't know about this was originally supposed to be made, I believe, in around 2000 with Johnny Depp. It got off the ground, and then they had all these problems, including like I think there was a sandstorm. So they made a documentary about how they couldn't make the movie, and then they tried making it again at one point. Again, something happened. So it's been like the cursed movie that like never sort of came to light. Well, it finally came out. It got finally made. I believe it was last year, and it started going on all these festivals. And now it's starting to get Blu-ray releases and cinema releases and stuff in certain areas. It stars Adam Driver, who is from, I think, Star Wars. He was pretty good in it. I'm not a fan of him look-wise. Like, he's very strange looking. I've seen some bits and pieces of him with stuff, and I've never really liked him, but I thought he was pretty good in this. It also has Jonathan Pryce, who was in Brazil, which is one of my favorite films of all time. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. The old synopsis of the original film back in the 2000s, when it was going to come out or going to get made, was a time traveler who is he makes commercials, and he time travels. He's doing a commercial, and it's about Don Quixote with, I don't know, hair gel or whatever, who gives a shit. And he time travels back to the actual time of Don Quixote, and then becomes like a better person and goes on an adventure with him. They took the time travel element out of it now, so they've rewritten and redone the movie so many times in all these years that now it's changed. There was no time travel element. Instead, Adam Driver is making a commercial. Again, I believe it's in Spain, and it is about Don Quixote with, I forget what they said, like shaving cream or something. And he goes to the village that he originally filmed a Don Quixote movie at, back when he was like a fresh young director, and he had like this, you know, this spunk, and he was excited, and he had this love and this drive and this great adventure. And he runs into some of the people now that were in the original film that he did. One of them being Jonathan Pryce, who now has some form of, I guess, dementia, and thinks he's actually Don Quixote from the movie that they filmed 10 years ago or so. You know, hijinks ensue. He thinks Adam Driver is Sancho Panza, his sidekick, and they go on this like crazy adventure, and he's trying to explain to Jonathan Pryce, you're not Don Quixote, you're Javier, the village shoemaker, and you know, you're not of the right mind. And they start running into all the old people from the original film and the original village from years gone, and just crazy stuff happens. And there's a lot of like falling and getting hurt. Adam Driver seems to fall over and get knocked out a lot. You know, gets up and curses and makes fun of like the situation, which is humorous in a way, but I felt like it was kind of overdone. The movie let me down, I think, because I was waiting for so long for this film to come out that I was really excited, and I thought it was something else than what it really was. And they've changed things over the years at this point. So, pretty much, like I said, he comes across all these people, and now he's sort of trying, you know, you expect this kind of redemption story where he's like a bad person now, and he's trying to become a better human being. That doesn't really happen. He doesn't have much of a redemption story, though I guess slightly by the end of the film he does. But all this crazy stuff starts happening, and now it starts meshing with what's real and what isn't, which Terry Gilliam is usually very good at. But with this, it's so far-fetched that a lot of it didn't even feel fantastical or, you know, imagination-wise. It just felt like crazy stuff was happening, and people were coming out of the woodwork and doing wacky stuff, and it ends up being real. So it's like, I don't know, something just didn't mesh well for me. The movie's a little over 2 hours. I think it was like 2 hours and 18 minutes. I will eventually pick it up on Blu-ray when it's cheap, just to support Terry Gilliam, because I am a huge fan, but it was not one of my favorite of his works. It was okay. It had some interesting stuff and some interesting ideas, but I felt like the imaginary stuff happening was just sort of shoehorned into the film. And then again, it's not really, there's no line. Like in other Terry Gilliam films, you know what's real and what's imagination, or what's people going crazy and seeing things, for the most part. In Zero Theorem, you don't as much, but it's just awesome. In this, I felt like they sort of dropped the ball a bit, and by the end of the film, I had enough. I felt like it was just dragging, and like crazy thing after crazy thing was happening, and you know, he's trying to help Jonathan Pryce, who thinks he's Don Quixote, and then he sort of, I guess, gets this like good side to him, and he's trying to redeem himself in a way, but the story doesn't really go where I thought it would go. I don't want to give away too much and say too much. There is some politics thrown in. There's a couple of jibes about the current presidency, and a few other things that I didn't care for. Like I said, a lot of the falling and people getting hurt humor, after a while, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I just want something more to happen. Overall, I think I was disappointed in the film, but as I said, I do want to give it another watch in the future because I am such a huge fan of him. What did you guys think of The Man That Killed Don Quixote? I'm very mixed on it. It's definitely my least favorite film of Terry Gilliam. You know, films like Tideland really grew on me after a while. I loved Brazil. I loved 12 Monkeys. I loved Zero Theorem. Trying to think what else he did that I really loved. Just lots of other things. But this one I only thought was okay. I thought some of the craziness and zaniness was interesting, but it just felt like it didn't fit right in the movie. And then they tried to sort of explain it like there's some guy who has all this money, and he's, I guess, running the production now and hiring crews and trying to you know, get people on the dole to do other work for him. So all this crazy stuff around him is supposedly real because he's paying for it. So it was sort of Beth was not interested. I could tell she really didn't like it. So that's my 2 cents. I apologize if someone was hoping for a really great movie and a really great big review, but I felt it was too long, and it was just too much crap in it. That's the gist of it. I will do another video if my mind changes when I rewatch it again. Thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.